How can we not look at the rand in closing of 2022? We can see that there is, depending on which side of the coin you're sitting, an ugly or beautiful rising channel, an ascending channel that has now changed that lower band into a resistance. It bounced, the rand weakened a little bit back to 1750 on a line graph, found resistance and is retracing again. So that retracement can take us back to a strong support waiting there at around 17 Rand and 6 cents. Once that level changes into a resistance, this can become an inverse cup and handle formation. And that is, in this case, means that we can see more strength in the rand should that level of resistance of around 1750 remain in place. And look, take note, ladies and gentlemen, that 17 Rand 50 level is waiting very closely to that lower band of my rising channel. The full target of this inverse cup and handle formation is the full length of the cup projected downwards from the neckline, can take my rand back to around 15 Rand 80, assuming the full formation plays out. If 1750 changes into a support again, obviously the next target is the upper band of the channel, and that is waiting at 1833 again. What is the target of the channel itself? It's the width of the channel projected downwards from where it was confirmed, right? Not where it was tested, where it was confirmed, meaning it can take it back to around 16 Rand and 1 cent. Very important. My 40-week moving average at the moment is currently a support. That means I can expect for the long term, meaning 3 months plus, a weaker rand as long as that level remains a support. As soon as the rand starts to consolidate below the 40-week moving average again, and that is waiting at 1654, I can expect a stronger rand against the American dollar based on a weekly graph. All right. We can see that this top in that week of the 10th of October of this year at around 1833 on a line graph is a little bit lower than the top there of 1905 in the week of the 20th of April 2020. All right. What does that mean? It implies lower highs on a very long-term play. So should those levels remain a resistance, I can expect a stronger rand in the future to come and not a weaker rand. All right. Many investors say that over time the rand always weakens, and that is true if you go back 50 years and 20 years. But we can see there has been massive volatility at times that investors can make use to either change rands to dollars or vice versa again, or hedge themselves if they are importers or exporters of some sort. That 40-week moving average is an easy indicator that one can use to say, hey, am I expecting a stronger rand or a weaker rand at the moment? With these lower highs, maybe a little bit of a stronger rand, but as soon as that 40-week moving average is tested, then that will be big eye glasses on, say, am I seeing a weaker rand or a stronger rand? My rising channel, expect a stronger rand formation. My inverse cup and handle, a stronger rand. But my longer term view on that 40-week moving average, say, as long as that is a support, I can expect a weaker rand. All right, so let's see how that plays out. That is always interesting to keep an eye on. The rand against the pound. Ticker GBPZAR. We can see clear resistance at around 21 Rand 56. And I want to use a horizontal line here because I want you to see how this level was almost tested, changed into a support or resistance, kept the resistance time and time again. Back in October 2020, November 2021, January 2022, and again here in the week of the 28th of November 2022. Strong resistance we can expect then, because look, it's very overbought at the moment, but forget the indicator for now. Let's look at the price action of the formations or of the line graph to see, are we expecting a stronger rand or a weaker one? And the fact that that level of 21.56 remains a resistance, we can see that we can expect a stronger rand against the British pound. My 40-week moving average is still a support. So my long-term 3 months plus view is, however, a weaker rand. Only when the rand starts to consolidate below that 40-week moving average, and that is waiting at 19 rand 99, let's make it 20 rand. Below that level, we can expect only a stronger rand against the British pound for a 3 months plus technical view. All right. Obviously, the strong support we can see there is waiting there at around 19 rand and 8 cents, critical level that has remained in place. And ladies and gentlemen, if we look back, and this is a pattern that has been developed over 2 years, all right? So if it plays out, we can assume that it might even take 2 years to play out. But look at this. This is another example of a inverse cup and handle formation. So should that level change into a resistance of 19 rand and 8 cents, we can expect a lot of a stronger rand against the British pound. Let's look at the full target of this currency pair. The full target, it's the length of the cup projected downwards, and almost looks impossible, back to around 1464 against the British pound, assuming obviously that all these levels remain a resistance. Once they start to change into a support again, once the buyers start to protect the pair, the view changes. The view changes. It's like anything, you know. Once the fever goes and the earache comes back, the view might change, whether it's, you know, not pneumonia anymore, but an ear infection. It's the same principles that remain. So once those levels remain a resistance, we can say, hey, stronger rand against the pound, stronger rand against the pound. The DAX. It was so interesting this year, especially if you look at that, the analysis we've done on the top 40 index and that head and shoulder formation that kept everybody worried for a while. The DAX was also in limbo for a very long time. And look at once that support, and I'm going to use a horizontal line again. Now let me just use this. I just want to highlight this strong support here. This strong support in that week of the 26th of September of this year was at 12,114 on a line graph. Once that level was found as support and there was the sellers have dried up and there was only buyers left. I mean, a clear lamp pole formation took this index, gave it a beautiful 20% rally from the week of the 26th of the September back to November. I mean, massive upside within a couple of months. And now the big question is, can the momentum remain in place? Now, ladies and gentlemen, the DAX index is at a critical level where it has been in May 2022 as well as in March of this year. So that is a critical level, and that is waiting at 14,460. If the DAX index starts to consolidate above that level again and remain above that level, we can assume that the momentum to the top can continue again, and we can see the index back at around 16,153 and maybe even higher. The strong support that needs to remain in place, first of all, is obviously that 40-week moving average, and that is waiting at 13,574. That is the level that needs to remain in place. Yes, my index is overbought, so we can easily see a pullback when the traders and investors start to take profit. We don't know how low it's going to go, but that 40-week moving average is a nice indicator to see, listen, is the long-term sentiment towards this index still positive? My next strong support is waiting there at exact level 13,088. That is the strong next support that needs to remain in place. And I'm saying again what I've said on the gold graph. Maybe the pullback can go all the way back to around these 13,000 levels, 13,100 level. Maybe found support again, bounce again, go back to the neckline, because then we can have a possible inverse, beautiful head and shoulder formation that can take this index higher. Should those levels change into a resistance again of 13,088 and that level of this support here at 12,114 change into a resistance again, we can see even lower levels. I mean, right? If we look at the history back in March 2020, the DAX traded at around 8,963. So nothing is impossible, right? But the 40-week moving average is a nice indicator to look at and say, hey, is it positive or negative? Bear in mind, this is a lamp pole formation. A lamp pole formation is a warning formation telling us that, hey, be careful. Once the pullback happens, it can destroy everything in its way and more. I want to have a look at the Hang Seng. Also, on everybody's radar has been this year because of the pullback. We saw one lower high after the other, and it seemed like this index just could not find enough buyers to take it to new levels. But ladies and gentlemen, there was a beautiful inverse head and shoulder formation on the Hang Seng that was the turnaround pattern everybody waited for. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And once that neckline changed into a support, it was guns blazing to the upside. And now it's approaching that 40-week moving average. Will there be enough buyers to change that level into a support? And I'm going to give that level to you. That is waiting at 19,694 and keep it a support. That is very important. My neckline is waiting there, and I'm projecting here at 18,011. That's obviously the next strong support that needs to remain in place for the Hang Seng. And if you could not make use of the first bounce, right, with this inverse head and shoulder formation, wait for a pullback. Nothing goes up in one line. Wait for a pullback. Wait for another optimistic higher low or a turnaround pattern, and then accumulate. I mean, this is a massive pullback since about 2021. If I look at where it was in February 2021 to that low, 51% drop. Beautiful inverse head and shoulder formation that hinted optimism, and now we can wait for higher lows to accumulate again and get exposure to the Hang Seng for more upside. I wish all of you a Merry Christmas and a wonderful New Year, and we look forward to see you in 2023. Have a lovely week. Take care.